Hey, Brad Barrett here from the Make Your Money Matter show. I want to share some facts with you about some of the cash conversations we've been having on our show. Before 1971, the banks could only print as much currency as they had gold. If they wanted to print more currency, they had to sell a percentage of their gold. But for many of you historians out there like myself, you probably know what happened. The US dollar had been removed from what we had called the gold standard. And since then, currency has been backed by, let's be frank, not a whole lot. I mean, theoretically, money itself is somewhat worthless. It's not backed by anything like we had prior to 1971. It was backed by, at that time, currency of gold. Now today, banks can print as much money as they want. I mean, that's the first thing I want to get across. And it's not necessarily a draconian statement there. It's just somewhat factual if you think about it. Now, the second thing I want you to understand is currency in the form of paper and coins, what my grandfather used to always call greenbacks, and this is dovetailing off my conversation I had on our show, makes up of, get this, less than 10% of the world's money. The other 90% or so is debt. Let that sink in for a second. So let me give you an example. Many of us have bought a house before. Imagine if you bought a house and you took out a $500,000 mortgage. That $500,000 didn't necessarily exist before they simply created it by typing a few numbers on a screen. Now, obviously, I'm being a little loose here in this for dramatic effect, but hear me out. It didn't exist before. They created it by typing some numbers. So when anyone, you or I, gets a loan, you get money that has basically been created out of thin air. Why is this important to know, other than it being maybe an aha moment for some of you? Especially when it relates to cash. When the government needs money, they go to the central bank and ask for a loan. The central bank gives them money created out of thin air in exchange for what? Government bonds. So this is newly created money, which, by the way, floods the system and essentially devalues the existing money. I just economically and fundamentally described inflation. New money flooding the system, devaluing current or existing money. And it's what we've seen over the past year or two. And I'm sharing this for this reason. Cash right now for all of you, if you're in cash making less than 1%, you're getting hosed. Period. End of story. Now, obviously you want to sit with your advisor. You want to reach out to us, maybe whoever you want to talk to make sure that this cash position I'm talking about fits into your plan. Maybe it's above your emergency funds. But right now I want you to know this. What happened last year with the rise of interest rates, the historical rise of interest rates, is paramount to know this, that most of the last 15, 16 months that we've been talking about this has been largely focused on rises of interest rates when it comes to debt. No one's been talking about the fact that we almost went 300% more on our cash accounts, CDs, money markets. Now's the time to go look at it because you're seeing 2, 3, 4% liquid cash out there. So really what I've been seeing with clients over the past, couple months and on our show, I've been talking about it, doing a lot of research. I want to share with all of our listeners and our viewers that if you have cash right now and cash is going to be sitting there for the next year or two, now's the time to look to make sure that that cash is working for you, because you have to, in a way, play the banks. You have to, because remember, banks aren't just lending it out and creating thin money. They're also investing assets. So don't make the player hate the game. You got to invest in that game. And we want to do it. If you want to do it conservatively, now's the time to do it where you can go get liquid money market type of vehicles that are yielding way more than over the past 15 years. I've shared this before that over the past 15 years, we've been largely spoiled. So it's kind of new to us to realize we can go get paid for our cash again. So I wanted to make sure we shared that, and I wanted to relate to you why we're in this situation nowadays. And we almost have to be, in the system to make sure that we're also keeping pace with inflation. I hope that helps. I want to thank you for watching. And as always, remember, make your money matter.